a bluegill spawn just beginning. So there's a lot of different things happening, and all of those combined together, to me, is just a recipe for, you pick up a bait, you cover water, you pick up an aggressive bait and cover water, you're gonna have a shot at catching big fish. And again, I went back to the jerkbait, because even though it's a bait that I don't pick up a lot, probably well, as often as some of the other ones in the post-spawn phase. I used it, I won a Toyota series on Rayburn, and one day all my fish, even though everybody thought I caught them on a crankbait, I caught them all on a jerkbait. Just, it was a post-spawn thing. They were on a main lake ridge, super, super shallow, and they moved off to the side of that ridge, and I caught them jerking out there when I couldn't get them to bite anything else. And I lived and died with a jerkbait in the post-spawn when I was guiding on Lake Amistad in the post-spawn phase. So it's situational, it's from lake to lake, but it's definitely one you want to have tied on in the post-spawn. And I broke down my gear there too, 15-pound Seaguar Viz-X. Another bait that, just a swim bait in general, there's been several really good ones on the market. This is one that I will be throwing this post-spawn. That's a Strike King Final Copy. It's durable, and the one thing I liked about it, and a few times I've spent throwing it this year, is this one, why I say I'm gonna throw it in the post-spawn a lot this year. It's new, but you can fish it fast. So it's one of the few, sizable swim baits on the market that you can actually fish fast, which you can get away with that. The more casts you make, the more fish are probably gonna see that thing. So I'm excited about throwing that, on Rayburn, on some windy points and things like that this year. The other one is a big spinnerbait. So one of the most deadly post-spawn, yeah.
So why a swim bait versus a swim jig?
I use them both. So like a lot of times in the post-spawn, fish will get on like hard clay points or little rock banks or something like that, fairly open water situations. That's when I think, like that line 3 type swim bait with a treble hook or one with a harness like that is a really good option. Now, if I got to fish an area that has a lot of cover or stickups or something like that, now swim jig is going to be a better option. But both are effective. They're both a lot of times covering the same, same water column. I just, a 5-inch swim bait or bigger or something like that, I think you got a chance of catching a real big one too. So that's why I kind of opted for that in this slide.
On the jerkbait, spawn, are you still using minimal action jerkbait, or you want something that's more erratic?
You can fish it faster. In the pre-spawn, you'll have to slow it down. So this is a 300 with a bill. It's of course going to go deeper, but I think something that people overlook on this bait is it's a slower action. It doesn't have a big side-to-side action. Now the 300 with a short bill, it does, and that's something. The 300, if you wanted to get down deeper, it will still catch them, but you can start experimenting with more erratic, faster retrieves on your jerkbait, definitely when that water temperature warms up and it's post-spawn. That's a great question. And so I put big spinnerbait in there. So big 3/4 ounce spinnerbait, it's not something you see very often in a lot of national tournaments, but I promise you it's still a really good way to catch them, especially in the post-spawn, because of shad spawn. And most people take advantage of a shad spawn early in the morning. Shad get up on a clay bank or on some riprap or something like that.